The situation is extraordinary. I don't think at any point in time earlier this kind of huge amount of pile of money was recovered from the residence of any judge. I don't think so. But I don't think it is an adequate punishment, nor is it a punishment at all, because he was here as a judge. He goes there also as an Allahabad High Court judge. So both places, he is a judge in any case in term. Now, I would think that the proper punishment, or proper at least, right now the steps that should be taken is that all judicial work should be withdrawn from him till such time as an in-depth inquiry is conducted. No, I think, the press has done the right thing by reporting it. It's not prostitute, sorry, because for the simple reason that what is the press for? If it is not to reveal facts, you're not implying anything. You're just stating a fact that that there was a fire in his house, the ambulance, whatever the fire brigade was called, and in that, while dousing the fire, they found a pile of money. So all these are, facts, and these factual aspects have been reported by the press. So what's the wrong in it? See, the first thing is that, people lose their faith in the judiciary. And I can say that the way people talk, it's not like this as though he is the sole person, he is the only person who's corrupt. There must be a lot of people, and as it's commonly said, all those who are caught, are dubbed dishonest. Those who are not caught are not dishonest. Chor pakda gaya, so if the thief is being caught, he's a thief. But if he's not been caught, then he's not a thief. But fact of the matter is there must be many others also like them. But it's not only, for setting an example that the Supreme Court Collegium can, constitute a committee which will look into it. Why not? I have full faith, there. I don't think anybody is going to save that gentleman. No, nor is he going to be condemned unheard. And this is important.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. I'm going to hold out a newspaper, and this is today's Times of India, and several other newspapers have also reported. And just look at the banner news. Fire at Delhi High Court judge's house leads to a recovery of cash pile. Now, this particular story of Justice Yashwant Varma has shaken the legal circle and the judicial circle as well. Now, what are the details which have really come in? Now, a fire that broke out in the residential bungalow of Delhi High Court judge resulted in the recovery of a huge pile of cash. And what was the amount? 50 crore rupees recovered from the house of Justice Yashwant Varma. And of course, this has sent shockwaves in judicial corridors and has forced the Supreme Court Collegium, led by Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, to decide to transfer him to another high court. Now, what has happened is that there was a unanimous decision taken that he should be transferred to his parent high court, and that is the Allahabad High Court. But few judges also said that this really is a blot on the image of the judiciary. Therefore, there should be an in-house inquiry. He should be asked to resign, and if he doesn't listen, then it should be followed up with an impeachment motion, which of course the collegium will refer to the president and in turn the government. Now, the biggest question is that what has this story really done to the people in the legal circle? Is this a norm? Today, questions are being raised about the corrupt practices in the judicial circles. And then there are also questions raised on whether the Supreme Court did the right thing by transferring him to the parent high court, that is the Allahabad High Court. I was speaking to a few people in the Allahabad Bar Association, and they categorically said that Justice Yashwant Varma should not be welcome to Allahabad High Court because Allahabad High Court is not a dumping ground. Therefore, I thought that we should speak to a judge this evening. And joining me now today is former judge of the Patna High Court, Justice Anjana Prakash, joins us. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining on HW. And it's really a pleasure to have you on the program. And let me be very candid and honest with you at the outset that I tried to speak to many judges. Most of them declined from commenting on this issue. I don't want to go into the details, but one of the judges, and I would not like to name them, that particular judge even said that you guys published a one sided story where you did not seek a clarification from Justice Yashwant Varma, and that was wrong. And this term prostitutes, which has been given to the press people, is actually apt. That person, I'm not going to name him, but he went to the extent of labeling us as a prostitute. I'm saying us because it involves the entire the journalistic fraternity. But my question is to you, ma'am, how shocked are you at this particular story where 50 crore has been recovered from a Delhi High Court judge's residence? Is it something very, very extraordinary and unprecedented?
Most certainly, it is. It is extraordinary. The situation is extraordinary. I don't think at any point in time earlier this kind of huge amount of pile of money was recovered from the residence of any judge. I don't think so. So obviously, this is very shocking, extremely shocking. I mean, the one institution upon whom you bank that they will be the final arbiter and the fair arbiter of any dispute, that the whole thing collapses. And when it collapses, obviously, it's very not only shocking, it's also devastating.
But Supreme Court has allowed the transfer of Justice Yashwant Varma to the parent High Court, that is the Allahabad High Court. But many people, in fact, many Rajya Sabha MPs have raised this question that transfer cannot be the punishment. What is your view on this?
Surely. I would also agree that transfer is not an adequate punishment. Because, see, Nilu, going to the history of the institution, at one time, when the transfer of judges, the procedure started, then all that they did was, transferred judges who had, some kind of a tainted, past, or against whom there were certain suspicions. And they would say, for administrative reasons, this person is being transferred there or there. But later on, this did not, it's become like, an official, like a bureaucratic transfer. You post a certain judge there so that he can climb up the slot and become a chief justice, earlier than, it's all strategized. Okay. So right now, sending him back is, of course, everyone knows because, this has happened and he's being, that is why he's being transferred. So it is some kind of a punishment. But I don't think it is an adequate punishment, nor is it a punishment at all, because he was here as a judge. He goes there also as an Allahabad High Court judge. So both places, he is a judge, in any case, in term. Now, I would think that the proper punishment, or proper at least, right now, the steps that should be taken is that all judicial work should be withdrawn from him till such time as an in-depth inquiry is conducted. This should be done.
But, ma'am, the whole thing about this in-house inquiry, then impeachment, now that's a long-drawn process. But many people are saying that he should have been asked to resign. Now, can't the collegium ask him to resign right away or suspend his judicial work, keep him off the judicial work? At least that could be the minimum which Supreme Court collegium could have asked him.
Even though Supreme Court is not, the High Court is not a subordinate court of the Supreme Court, but I guess in extraordinary circumstances, it can be suggested to the Chief Justice of that particular High Court that please withdraw all judicial work from him. Do not give him any work. So suspending, all work from him can be initiated by the Supreme Court. And I am sure, Nilu, maybe we don't know about it, but the judges also at the collegium, they must have suggested that he resign. I'm sure,
what the story in Times of India very clearly says that few judges were not in favor of transfer. They said the transfer is not enough. And in fact, they suggested that there should be an in-house inquiry. He should be asked to resign. But the very fact that there was a unanimous decision on just the transfer worries me as a journalist. that why it didn't strike the Supreme Court collegium to suspend his work immediately. Because if you're transferring a judge to his parent high court, which means you are allowing him the permission for the judicial work. He'll continue
No,
the
no.
judicial work there.
No, not necessary. Not necessary. If he goes to, but let's not mix up two things. If he's transferred, it does not mean, that this is the end of the story. The in-depth inquiry, the in-house inquiry can still come. Okay. And I think that is being mulled over also. That's been suggested. So I guess, that will also come. The Supreme Court being, the way it is and the way it is functioning right now, I don't think they will stop at this. So they will, ask for an in-house inquiry. Now, as for transferring him to Allahabad High Court, I'm sure that the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court can withdraw all work from him, suspend him from, doing any judicial work. So this is not a question of being enough or not enough. This is not adequate. It's not that. It's a first step that they've taken. And that, that obviously they've taken cognizance of it. Suppose if this was done and the collegium did not do anything, people would blame, just look at the collegium. It's, learnt of this and it's not doing anything. So at least one step has been taken to give a, message to the public that they have reacted, or message, or the proper thing they thought that it could be done.
No, but ma'am, the whole thing about the propriety of this entire issue and how it has happened, nobody was expecting. If you had been part of the collegium, what would you have really suggested?
See, I would have suggested, that suspend work from him. But whether I was within my rights to do it or not, I'm not sure. As I said, the High Court is not a subordinate court, and therefore the collegium cannot possibly say, that all work is suspended from you. But I guess, in extraordinary circumstances, it can be done.
But wasn't this an extraordinary circumstance that the cash pile was recovered and Supreme Court immediately thought of calling the collegium on this particular issue? Itself indicates that this was an extraordinary situation. So
yes. So that'll also come. That'll also come. I'm sure that'll come. This is like a natural progression of a thing which emanates, from this kind of situation.
Right. But ma'am, now what is this particular episode where the cash pile has been recovered? Now, obviously, this everybody is saying that this is unaccounted cash, but few of the people feel that he has not been heard. Do you think that the media or the judges have not been fair to Justice Yashwant Varma, because his version is not given anywhere? In none of the stories I've seen, his version is there. But one of the judges I was speaking to on the phone said that this is unfair and we should not condemn the judge before he's heard. What is your opinion on that?
No. I think, the press has done the right thing by reporting it. It's not prostitute, sorry, because for the simple reason that what is the press for? If it is not to reveal facts, you're not implying anything. You're just stating a fact that that there was a fire in his house, the ambulance, whatever, the fire brigade was called. And in that, while dousing the fire, they found a pile of money. So all these are, facts, and these factual aspects have been reported by the press. So what's the wrong in it? And after that, for us to inference, because if you see the provisions of Section 13 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, unaccounted cash being found, which is beyond the known means of income, obviously it implies something. The presumption is this, that it would be illicit.
But what do you think this episode has really indicated as a message which has really gone out? And what could be the deterrent? Any deterrent you would suggest that, so that the other judges don't attempt a thing like this?
Surely. See, the first thing is that, people lose their faith in the judiciary. And I can say that the way people talk, it's not like this as though he is the sole person, he is the only person who's corrupt. There must be a lot of people, and as it's commonly said, all those who are caught, are dubbed dishonest. Those who are not caught are not dishonest. Chor pakda gaya, so if the thief is being caught, he's a thief. But if he's not being caught, then he's not a thief. But fact of the matter is, there must be many others also like them. But it's not only, for setting an example that this person should be strictly dealt with. It is, that this is the way corruption should be dealt with. Not because of, for any other reason, but this is how it should be dealt with. Not for setting an example or for the others that it will be a detriment to the others to follow. And nobody follows anybody else.
Right. But I've just got a message from Priyanka Chaturvedi, who's the Shiv Sena Rajya Sabha MP. She's just sent me a message and she's written a letter she's addressed this letter. Yes. And she has written a letter to the Chief Justice of India. And she has urged, and I'm going to read it out. She's written a letter saying that I have written a letter to Honorable Law Minister, CJI Collegium Judges, with respect to a concerning order in the Allahabad High Court by Justice Mishra, where she mentions that grabbing of breasts or snapping pajama string is not attempt to rape and verdict. There is a distinction between the preparation stage and actual attempt. Now she basically is trying to refer to something else. But the point is that people in context with Justice Yashwant Varma's judicial orders are also talking about the fact that there should be a review of his judicial orders. Now, is that possible?
He's been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's been a judge since 2016. So in his tenure, he must have passed quite a few judgments. I don't think it is humanly possible to review each and every judgment, but I'm sure, if there is an in-house inquiry, they will go into the fairness of, the fairness of the judgments. I'm sure that the in-house inquiry team, because they themselves are chief justices and they know the law, so they will surely go into it.
No, but
what seems justified?
No, ma'am, but how in-depth will this in-house inquiry be? Now, from where he's got the money, who has paid him, or what is the conduit? Will all that be revealed in an in-house inquiry?
It will be. Of course, why not? What is an inquiry all about if not this? These are the basic things, that you have to explain how this money came. Now, if he obviously, whatever explanation that he will give, that will be looked into, that will be verified, not verified, whatever. And, lots of things may spill out. Lots of people may, heads may roll for all you know.
Right.
Who's involved, who's not involved, whose money was he holding? Was he holding his own money? Or is it, a High Court judge's house is a safe haven? You'll remember, there was this judge in Punjab and Haryana High Court. There was a mistake in the name, and the judge, the money landed up at the doorstep of a similar sounding judge's house doorstep. And when she Nirmal Yadav or somebody, and then she raised this point, and then it was found out that it was the other Nirmal Yadav or somebody who had actually, she was dealing and she was the corrupt person. So it can, all these things will come out.
But ma'am, now the thing is that will there be any attempt by the government to protect this judge? Will there be any attempt to protect Justice Yashwant Varma on the side of the Supreme Court? Because after all, these are all brother judges and they save each other's back. That's a known fact in the legal circles. Many people don't talk about it for given reasons, and I'm not getting into that. But what if the Supreme Court starts protecting a man like this who's tainted, who's corrupt, and from whose house this cash pile has been recovered? Now, there are chances that
I don't think the Supreme Court, I can say about the Supreme Court, I don't think, there may be various views. There may be various views as to how to proceed with him, but I don't think, that they will stand by him or they will, take his side and all that. Because, see, nothing can be seen in black and white. When you look into the legal ways of doing it, it may seem illogical, but it is logical. And therefore, I don't think the Supreme Court is going to protect a person like this. I don't think so.
Do you think that this particular episode is, if it is that unprecedented, it requires the intervention of the ruling government? Can the law ministry take some action, or they are not in the purview to do anything?
No, no, I don't think right now the law ministry can do anything about it. It's how the judiciary itself proceeds with it.
Hmm.
The way it is, they can recommend his impeachment or whatever. They can lay the report of the in-house inquiry, and then
Right.
the parliamentarians can do whatever they want
Hmm.
with
So
it.
the maximum the parliamentarians can do is to move an impeachment motion.
Uh-huh. So the people are known, people who have resigned before the impeachment notice, etc. This also is true that you know whoever is the corrupt person has wriggled out of any further action in the matter by resigning, by going into whatever oblivion. People have done that.
But what do you think could be the best option? Should he be asked to resign, or should he just face an inquiry? That's it.
He can be asked to resign, and why not? I mean, like on the face of it, he can be asked to resign. But and
Hmm.
if he chooses not to, then things can go. But even if he is asked to resign, the point is, that doesn't really help the matter. You see, it's like just saying, you've cut off a branch which is dry, but whereas the rest of it, if it is seeped through, you need to go into it. You
Hmm.
needed to understand how things are working, how things are working, because obviously this is not a normal situation. Who keeps 50 crores in cash at home? I mean,
Hmm.
I've been looking for a flat. I don't have the money to buy even 3 crores flat. So this is the way an honest person works. So it's
But
it's totally
you,
absurd, the money.
you, no, you yourself have been a judge in the Patna High Court. Do you think that any High Court judge, if he's working honestly, if he's working without taking bribes, can any point of time have a recovery of 50 crore cash in his
No,
house?
impossible. This money is impossible.
Which means
This
that this
money is
is a bribe
impossible.
money. Which means that this is clearly a bribe money and nothing more.
Of course, it is illicit. It's ill-gotten money, obviously. Now, whether he's holding that ill-gotten money for somebody else, what is he doing? Was he himself, see, there are lots of situations. He could be holding the money for somebody else. Somebody, कि चलो यहाँ पे the High Court judge's house, the residence is a safe haven, तो यहाँ रख दिए, like, the Swiss banks, etc. It could be that, or he could be personally corrupt, or he may be taking a cut on this. One really can't say. So, and unless that in depth, and that is why I said, his resignation alone is not going to help. Even if he resigns, there should be some kind of an inquiry to know as to what how things are being dealt with. That is important, because people just talk offhandedly or loosely, this judge is corrupt, that judge is corrupt, usse leta hai paisa, ye uske through leta hai. But then one must know, how exactly these people deal with.
Hmm. So you are saying that this entire modus operandi, if this at all is you are saying for sure is this is ill-gotten money. So the inquiry should go to the depth as to whose money is it? Is the
Mhm.
judge holding the money for somebody else? Who are the
Uh,
people involved? So all this
mhm.
should be revealed. Then only.
Yes, how he accumulated that kind of cash. That's important. That's important, you see.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, what is the inquiry about then?
But
Except that, then you just say step one, money found, step two, resign, khatam. That's the end of it. You don't do that.
right.
Money found, after that, money recovered. You find out how it was done, who was responsible, all that. And you pin responsibility on each and every one of them. It's not
True.
only this person, who should be involved. You think, he's working single-handedly, by himself, like a lone wolf, ki paisa, all this money is with him.
No, I'm
It's not
sure.
possible.
I'm sure that he would not be, handling 50 crore all by himself. And he's
No, no,
not
no,
doing
no,
it effectively. There must be
no,
people
no.
who are along with him.
Oh yes, absolutely. There must be, there, and therefore, it is important for them to, hold an inquiry. And
Right.
how much they will be able to do, I don't know whether the judges have the means to do the kind of investigation. That is also thing. You see, all these things are very sophisticated. phones are, WhatsApp messages are sent or whatever messages are sent. This happens, that happens. There's so many things behind the curtain. Now, whether the judges themselves have the wherewithal to inquire and to inquire so completely or so meticulously all these things. But of course, they can take assistance, of some police officers or whoever, of some person who knows how to do things.
But
Technology is such a thing.
right, but some people have also spoken about a CBI inquiry. Now, will a CBI inquiry in this particular case of Justice Yashwant Varma will work? Will not work?
No, no, no. Right now, there would be no provision of a CBI inquiry. You see, there are certain limitations, and those limitations, you can't possibly bypass the rule of law. If the rule
No,
of
but
law
what
is
is
there,
the
it's for
procedure?
everyone.
If you have
Pardon?
to seek an inquiry into the conduct of the judge,
Uh,
what is the procedure? You have to inform the president. The president issues orders for a CBI inquiry. What is it like?
No, 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 not the CBI inquiry. The inquiry, please. One must understand that the inquiries, the within the judicial circles itself. I think there are two chief justices who are involved in some other, a team of judges, they inquire. They can take assistance from others, who they think could help them. For example,
Right.
even setting up a laptop, not everyone is, conversant with it. So you do that, how it has been done.
Right. Okay. So my last question to you, ma'am, is
Complicated.
that
It's complicated. There's no doubt about it. It's complicated. But people must clear this mess. People
right.
must get to the depth of it, to the center of it to know the.
But is an honest inquiry guaranteed in this particular case, ma'am? That's what I'm
Oh,
worried
yes,
about.
absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it, I wouldn't doubt it. I
So,
wouldn't doubt it.
and Supreme Court in-house inquiry only will do this.
CBI, so the Supreme Court Collegium can, constitute a committee which will look into it. Why not? I have full faith, there. I don't think anybody is going to save that gentleman,
No,
nor
but
is he going to be condemned unheard. And this
no,
is
but
important.
ma'am, let's be honest that there have been several committees which have been constituted by the Supreme Court in various other cases, but they've not been able to reach a very convincing
No, no,
conclusion.
no, no, no. I don't think so. I don't think
SEBI.
so. See, it's not a question of a commission, a judicial commission. It's not an inquiry. It's not a commission. It's an inquiry. It's an inquiry. This is the most that the judges can do.
Right.
See, as I said, there is a procedure prescribed, and that procedure has to be followed. Nobody is above that procedure. So there's a fairness in the procedure that is in depth. I mean, inbuilt in it. So the person will be heard. The person will, record his statement. All that will be done, and that should be done.
Right.
He should also be asked.
Right. My last question to you, ma'am, is that are you expecting any kind of backlash from the various bar associations of the country or the Supreme Court Bar Association when they write to the judges? What are you expecting?
The Bar Association of Allahabad High Court, I see that they have protested that he be not sent to Allahabad because the Allahabad High Court is not a dumping ground. But that they've said. But what else? What more can the the bar associations demand? I was just thinking that they are the ones who should. But then again, there are so many vested interests. Also, people will say this person is corrupt for reasons of his own. It could be anything. It could be anything. Just because he's honest, just because he's strict, etc., etc. But what I have seen in my experience, Nilu, that initially, a lot of people are dubbed like, oh, okay, he's corrupt and all that. But that term does not stick to the person for a long time. So only a person who's actually corrupt, on him, if you see that, that corrupt word, that is stuck on him. But here I find, I found somebody sent me a message from Allahabad High Court, and they said that he had a very good impression about this person, and he was a liberal judge, and he came from a very good family, etc., etc., and he was a very fair-minded person. So it's very confusing. The signals are very confusing about this person. So either all that was just a facade, and if that is a facade, you need to go behind that facade and see and expose all that, because a person is not only how he appears, it's much more than that.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful to have you on this program. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.